Hey. Good evening. How's everyone doing? Just me. Chris is here, but not here. She's feeling better. She's not here. Still dealing with pain, John. I know, I hear you. Anyway, I know the new intro. I had to create a new intro, um, and I had to change the music because I was getting copyright stuff from YouTube. Uh, for the intro music. We couldn't do any we couldn't they wouldn't allow any of the super chats with that music. Can't monetize it because even though it was free to use, you can't make money off of it because the person's letting you use it for free, but he doesn't want you making money or she doesn't want you making money off of it, which I understand. I mean, so I had to go on some AI app and try like 30 different combinations to come up with anything that even remotely sounded like something that I would want to put on an opening. Anyway, hello everyone. John McGinnis, Kathy, David, and Laura Carroll, Teresa. How's everyone doing? Sunday night. I've been crazy busy. Um, Finally moving forward with New Jersey Power Unity 11 Expo stuff. I finally broke through that roadblock and was able to get at least some things done. It's going a lot slower this year than it has in previous years for a bunch of reasons, but I was finally able to at least get some stuff done. Created a new Facebook cover, um, signed 5 or 6 people, waiting for a bunch more to come on. But hopefully that'll happen, within the next week or two. Hopefully. Hello, Veronica, Marianne, David. I was waiting on the Smith Cadbury uh, to see if they were gonna allow the March 1st date, and you know what a what a ordeal that was because I got approval, and then I did kind of go through all the emails of the people that originally asked for February 22nd, and I started with them first, and then I worked up to, you know, people that came after that, and I went one by one. Um, it took this long because I'm sending out links and people aren't paying, and I have to wait. I got to give them at least a few days, and then I'm sending them reminders, and um, they weren't paying, and then I had to go to the next person and the next person. So it took a while to finally, because I wanted to give the people a chance because a lot of the people that were emailing were from, I guess, they were members of their historic society or friends or family, and I had to give them a shot as well. So it just took a while. But I had a ton of emails to go through, and I finally did. And that event is done. Got that sold out. I'm working with 2 other people for an event in September that, if it happens, will be pretty good and pretty big. That you guys will all want to come to, I'm sure. Trying to work out the details of that, going back and forth on that one, um, as well as now setting dates for New Jersey paranormal events, which means I have to go to back and forth with each location and give them dates and then have them say to me, that date doesn't work. Well, we have that date, and then I have to switch everything around again. And then that one says, well, yeah, this date and that date works, but that one doesn't. And I have to switch everything around again. So that's what I've been busy with the last 2 or 3 days, just constantly on my phone, going back and forth, scheduling, you know, pretty much everything, trying to anyway. Plus, get the expo moving forward finally so that we can, we have links that should be coming for admission tickets, VIP tickets, vendor tickets. I mean, like I said, everything's been going slower, and it's just taken a little longer this year, which is it is what it is. But we'll be in we'll be moving forward kind of quickly as soon as I get the things that I need. Hopefully this week, by the end of this week with Power Unity. So you'll start seeing some announcements. You'll start seeing tickets available, VIP party tickets available, all that good stuff. And I can't imagine all the behind the yeah, the behind the scenes stuff. I mean, it does take it's a whole nother job. It takes hours upon hours. If I showed you the stack of papers for contracts for the expo that I'm looking through, if I showed you my pad with the dates for each location that have lines through it and other dates added, it's and then creating graphics for the expo and all that, it just takes a lot of time. And so the next date that we're announcing as far as events is March 15th at the Van Horn. And again, the Van Horn, we only do twice a year. Um, Last two times I was there, I had a great time. I had a lot of activity on the second floor last time I was there. So I kind of like going there. So that'll be March 15th. Sorry. Tickets will be available for that one. I got to create an ad and a link. Another one I'm waiting for because I don't create the payment link for that. That's done by the association, Heritage Association. So I have to wait on that from them. So I can announce the event. I can start taking emails now if people want to come to the March 15th event, but I can't give you a ticket link until I have it. It was the same thing with Liberty Hall. Those are really the only two locations that I deal with that. Otherwise, I could sell tickets on my own, which I kind of like, but it is what it is. But that's the next one that's going to be available March 15th, Van Horn, which is, again, I like that place because I've had really good activity on the second floor. And it's not a huge area, but there's like two different areas that you get really good interaction. And I hear the basement's pretty active and good place. So if you can make it, March 15th will be, and then there's, dates that are going to be released after that. I never, ever, ever release the whole schedule at once because it's just too much to keep track of and to monitor the emails and sell the tickets. So that's the next one, March 15th, Van Horn, which is in Bridgewater. Cool building, decent amount of activity from I've had great times there the last two times. So if you're interested, send me an email, but I'll be placing the ad with the ticket link hopefully again this week. So other than that, we went Friday night to I'm going to butcher it. It's the German club in Clark. I think it's Deutscher. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. I lived in Clark and I didn't know this place was there. And I drove by the road that leads to this club. I still drive by it every day. My son lives in Clark. So never knew it was there. You have to go down this one side street off of Raritan Road and you keep going and then you make a right and you go over the water and there's this big piece of property that has a building, which is their club. And then the pavilion is really, really big. And we got to, we were supposed to tour it at first, but we had a hard time getting the audio and the video set up for the presentation. And we didn't know how many people were going to be there. We thought it was going to be 30, 40, maybe like a library, like 80, 50 maybe, somewhere in that range. And then when we got there, they told us it was 140, 150. And we were like, whoa. I mean, I showed you those pictures. There were people everywhere. And, it was great because they had a buffet before and we got to eat, we got to hang out and talk to people. And that was like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then the presentation itself was hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And then people kept coming up and talking to us afterwards, telling us. And what's cool for me is that I lived in Raleigh for a lot of years, and I lived in Clark for a few years. So a lot of people were kind of from around that area, and they were telling me like haunted places in Raleigh and other places, and we were actually approached by a person who represents a location that I first tried to get in when I was about 34, which is 20 years ago. I literally remember going up to this location because I had heard rumors about it and putting our business card at the time, um, along with a letter about who we are and what we do, into their mailbox. I remember doing it like it was yesterday and waiting to hear back from them, and I never did. And I drove by that building many, many times because my daughter used to live around there, and I always wanted to get in that building. And the fact that these people were there, representatives of the location, and they came up, it was like, where are you from? And they're like, oh, we had a great time. We watched this. We loved it. We'd love to have you come check out our place. And I'm like, what place? And they told me, and I'm like, wait, what? There? Yeah. Yeah, I want to check out that place. I've been wanting to check out that place for 20 years now. Let me in. So we're trying to work out when and how we're going to do that. Hey, Taryn. Um, so if we get in that place, even if we get to, we're going to go for a tour eventually at some point because I've never been inside of it. It's a big, massive, old building. This building's been around forever. And hopefully we get to tour it. And then we're going to come in to do an investigation of it. And then we'll talk from there whether they want to do anything public. But man, it was so weird. Yeah, full circle. You're right about that. I drove by this building so many times when I lived in Raleigh and Clark that I was just like, man, I want to get in that building. I know there's something in that building. And then for the people to come up to me and not only say, hey, we want you to come in, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on in that building. I was like, and this is what I'm talking about. When we talk about, being a nonprofit and not making any money off of New Jersey Paranormal for our events and the things that we do for the people that we do it for. Um, Kind of some of the payback that we get is we get to get into some really cool places because these people come to a lecture or an event and boom, hey, you want to come in? It's haunted. You want to check it out? And we're like, yeah, we do. So we get to check out some cool places and work with some good people and then bring you guys hopefully into those places as well. And it just works, you know. And yeah, what I love to make, the money off of Patreon and all this other stuff. And sure, it wouldn't hurt. I mean, we need things, equipment, batteries, whatever. But, again, not the reason that we do it. That event there reminded me again of why we do what we do and why I love doing it because we didn't make, a lot of money for that event. They paid us a fee for speaking. Um, they fed us, which was great because the food was awesome. And they had a dessert that I love chocolate. And man, that chocolate cake was so good. So we made a minimal fee. They fed us, and the people coming up afterwards that we never met and talking about their experiences and talking about, why they believe and the things that have happened to them and asking more questions about what I think of this or what Chris thinks of that. And then, like I said, these two other people, we were actually offered to host like a Halloween party, which was a really, really cool offer. But it was kind of strange that that came out of that as well. Like, we're going to host, all I could think of is, and again, it's not something I wouldn't do for fun, but we usually do stuff on Halloween or around Halloween. But all I could picture was, if you watch Ghostbusters 2, you know, all the spirits were gone. They saved New York. They weren't really doing anything anymore. And um, Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson were basically doing birthday parties where they would dress up in the Ghostbuster outfit and play the song and just, do the "Who You Gonna Call" dance. That's all I could think about was like, what are we gonna do at what are we gonna do at a Halloween party? You know what I mean? Like, you know, cast spirits onto the projectors onto the walls, and I don't know. But it was really, again, the invite was cool. And if we weren't doing something, we do have something planned for Halloween night, an event. So I don't want to, again, get into too much, but we are going to be doing something Halloween night. Something I've always wanted to do, but we've done investigations, but we've never done a public ghost hunt on Halloween night. We're going to do that this year, which is going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to it. So back to the whole Sterling Hill mine thing. Hey, Christina, and the Jason Hawes episode. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. It's really, 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 really good. Christina, the Eagles are going to lose to either Detroit or Kansas City in the Super Bowl, so enjoy it while you can. That's all I'll say about that. Detroit will either beat them in the NFC Championship or the Chiefs will beat them. So enjoy. Anyway, but that Jason Hawes video was a really, really good one. I enjoyed watching it, and I've been in there a million times, and I sat watching it, Chris and I, and we loved every minute of it because a lot of the stuff that we've done was validated, as far as what we've experienced there, but other people that we brought in experienced there. So we had Sherry and Mandy on, but I got to talk to Sherry a lot after that video, and I can't get into specifics on what they experienced, but they had some really cool things happen as well. And she shared, I had no idea. And she shared a few things with me that was like, wow. So it from what I was told, now I don't know if they captured what they captured on video or what they didn't, but from what I was told, they experienced like cooler stuff than JV, and John experienced. Hopefully, again, they caught some of that on video, but they definitely had some stuff happen that was pretty wild. And I didn't know that, and I was glad I got to talk to her because I'm like, I know you. I think she's going to try to get the video up this week, if not next week. But I'm like, I know you're going to post that video, but could you at least tell me? We haven't even talked about what happened. And she told me, and I was like, damn. So I love it because I know a lot of people watch those videos, and I'm assuming now that, again, a lot of people are going to want to come back into the mine and, do some events there with us. We'll start those mine investigations when the weather gets just a little bit warmer. But we are, again, planning 5 dates at the mine, and at least 4 of those will be with guests. I won't say who. I think I mentioned the other night, but at least 4 of them will be with special guests. So that'll be really cool. And we've already discussed with the director and his wife the overnight, and they're okay with it. It's just a matter of we'll figure out a night and we'll do that. Will Jason be showing the continuation? I know, Maria, that he has it when he's airing it. I have no idea. And I'm kind of I'm hoping, because I have no idea what happened in the other buildings, but I know people have been in the mine. I've had more experiences probably in the mine than anywhere else. And the other buildings are kind of hit and miss as far as activity, like most places are. So I hope that episode is as good or at least good. The other 25 levels are underwater. They flooded out. There's only one level that's accessible. The other 25 are underwater. They're all flooded. So, but I'm hoping that other video is as good, or it's like the sequel to a good movie. You don't want to take away from the good movie. So you're hoping the second movie is as good or better. So I'm hoping that second video. I know they did a lot more experiments, a lot of different things. No, not they're flooded out. They're filled with water, Laura. You can't investigate them unless you're going to go in a diver suit. And no, they're flooded out. So, but again, the one level is cool enough. And we've been telling people for years since we went in there that that mine is haunted. And we heard the stories from the people that worked there, and then we went in, and the very first thing we experienced was voices going back and forth. We heard them clear as day. And to have other people, and that's what kind of bothered me a little bit about, there were other groups that went in there who I know and who I like, but I kept telling them, I'm like, the voices aren't, it's rare that they're right there on top of you up close, especially when it's a surprise and you're not doing EVPs. When you're just walking around, it's rare that you hear them right there. You'll hear the or the growl maybe, but the voices come from different directions. And they would go in there, these other YouTube channels, with just cameras that weren't even, like what Jason had. And they would be referencing these things that they were hearing, and you really couldn't make out any of it. And it was a bummer for me because I'm just like, I know they're there. They were telling me they heard it. I know they heard it. But on video, it's really hard to, that's why it'd be cool. Like, again, if I had all that money and all that equipment, I would put probably mics in all different areas and just leave cameras running in there in different sections, down different corridors, and just let it run for hours. And then go back and listen back to it, see what you get. Shadows, voices. Yeah, that growl is weird. Why they do that, I don't know. I don't know if it's a form of intimidation or what, but I definitely enjoyed that video, a lot. And again, according to Sherry, she experienced a lot too. So hopefully that comes out this week. And the plan was to have Jason on after the video aired, but I thought the video would air a lot sooner. So I would have loved to have talked to him afterwards, but it is what it is. I had 3 great experiences in mind. I heard the boom last year. The boom, again, they reference residual things, and even Sherry was saying, I think some of the stuff was residual, whereas the booms and the flashlights shining may be a residual thing, which again, very well could be. But a live voice saying Jason is not a residual voice. That's a live voice of a person who was there. And we've caught so many EVPs in that mine that we know that there are intelligent spirits all around us there. It's both. it's a mixed bag. You're gonna have both in that kind of environment. I hear the carts a lot in there. Yeah, I mean, that is by far um, one of my favorite places for sure. It has been for years, and we're really fortunate in that they trust us to go in there and to bring people in there, and you know have these events there because they didn't do it before. They never even wanted any part of it before, and then they tried us to see how it would work, and then they said, "Hey, we like the way you do this. We donate the money, of course, and we want you to be the only guys who do this. You guys are here bringing people in. You do it." And that's it. That's how it started. And now we're, again, very good friends with the director and his wife and the other people there. And they support everything we do. We support everything they do. And every chance we get, um, we try to bring somebody in who hasn't been there before, as far as a special guest, celebrity, or whatever. Deb is one of the people, and Deb, I saw you just jump on right there. We've known Deb for many years, and Deb is one of those people. And Deb kind of reminds me of a little bit of like what Sherry was talking about. I don't know if Deb would describe herself as a skeptic after all this time, but Deb is another one that, you know, it takes a lot to surprise her or to get her to go, holy crap, and she came to the mine and I heard about the experience. I wasn't in the mine when it happened, but if anybody isn't going to make up stuff about what they experienced, it's Deb. Deb is one of those people for sure. She was in that mine before. She's been in that mine since. And Deb is not the type of person who's going to make up that she saw like a shadow figure rush her and that she was kind of scared about it. When someone like Deb says that, she ain't making it up. And that, again, I I'd love to experience that, but you don't expect it. When you don't expect it, and one of the things that they kept talking about the mist and seeing stuff in the mist and thinking that they were seeing people. When I saw that guy and I shined my flashlight and it was in the one shaft corridor, whatever you want to call it, and I saw what was the shadow of a big guy, a little heavy set, taller than I was, arms out to his side, and I saw the helmet, the mining helmet, and this woman who, again, must have been sensitive or whatever you want to call it. She said to me, "Someone's behind me. I don't feel right standing here." And I said, "Okay, before you move," I turned on my flashlight and I said, "Go." And I went, "Go that way." And I moved the light from where she was to the direction I wanted her to go safely. And when I moved the light, behind her was this guy, big guy. And she called it. Someone was behind her and I saw him with my own eyes. Crazy. And again, it was one of those moments where you don't want to freak people out who are there because you don't know how people are going to react and you don't want them running in the dark in the mine. But I literally went right to that area with my recorder and was like, "Who was here? I saw you. Who was here? Tell me your name. I saw you." And I didn't get a whole lot back other than the fact that I saw him. Good enough. But again, we're doing this lecture presentation in Clark. And the very first thing I do, because there were so many people, I said, "Show of hands, where are my skeptics?" And I don't know, 10 people raised their hand from around the room. And I said, "Okay, the door's over there. You guys could leave. You had your meal. Just see yourselves out." And everybody laughed. And I said, of course, I'm joking. And I did my whole spiel about, you know, honestly, the truth is, in my opinion, after doing this as long as I have been and seeing what I've seen and experienced what I experienced, a skeptic is only someone who hasn't experienced it yet. It's like saying, in my opinion, again, this is my opinion. It's like my opinion, someone saying an airplane can't fly. It really can't fly because I've never sat in one and flown in an airplane, or I've never seen an airplane fly. It's like that kind of thing to me. Is I understand why they feel the way they do, and their brain is wired a certain way, whatever the way they're raised, or just what their beliefs are. But there's no way I could take my brain, and I told them this, and put it into your brain. I can't do that. I can't show you what I've seen and what I've heard. Um, we had one of the biggest debunker skeptics there is out there at our convention, and he's a friend of ours. And I don't begrudge him and his beliefs. I don't, you know, it is what it is. He believes what he believes. He feels what he feels. He feels like he debunked anything, and okay, that's him. But I flat out said to him, there is no way you could ever tell me that I did not see the full body apparition of a young girl look at me in the eye, startled, and then run upstairs. One of the coolest things that ever happened to me in this field ever. Um, that to me was more proof than I could ever need or hope for that spirits are real. And he's looking at me, and I said, there's nothing you were going to say. I wasn't on medication. I wasn't drinking. There was nothing wrong with the lighting. There wasn't any kind of like weird shot. I'm not talking about shadow play. It wasn't shadow play. This was a person I saw. Just like I'm looking at myself on that camera, I saw a person. She saw me, and then she ran. And I said to him, there's nothing you could say to make me think that I didn't experience that, because it's there. I saw it. You didn't. I'm sorry. I wish I could bring you back in there, and hopefully that girl were to show herself again. But you can't, there's no way you could prove to skeptics, because they're not going to believe it unless it happens and they experience it, and they're going to go into these buildings. One of my biggest things is, and we talked about this a lot during the presentation when it comes to people, um, a lot of people will use the shield of, well, they're just turned off to it. That's why they don't see anything. They're just turned off to it. That's why they don't experience it. I don't believe it works that way. I don't. I believe that if it's there and it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Whether you're a believer or not, it's going to happen. If it happens, it's just a matter of when and with who and why. It may not be just they, yes, in theory they could be turned off to that person's attitude and just the way they are and the way they carry themselves. And as another person, they're like, why is this person in my house if all they're doing is giving attitude and saying, there's nothing here, there's nothing here. Yeah, I could go with that if you want to say that. But if they never admitted that they were a skeptic and they walked into a building and just looked around and didn't say a word and acted normal with a group of people, I think if it happens, it's going to happen, whether they believe or not. Well, you know, spirits are tuned in to whether people believe or not. I don't know if it works that way, you know? So I just think it's a matter of, it just hasn't happened for them. And when it does, or if it does, then yeah, it'll change their mind. But I don't mind skeptics. It is what it is. I can't tell you how many events that we've done over the years where the man or the woman, or they bring a friend, or they bring a significant other or somebody, and you can tell one is into it and the other one doesn't want to be there at all. They're just there for whoever they're with. And a lot of cases, the person like this the whole time, or they're looking around, or they're just kind of like sitting by a wall and not engaged. And it is what it is. But through the years, we've turned a few of those into people who have come back to our events and enjoyed them, and opened their mind a little bit with what the stuff that goes on around them. I'm going to be blind here and look, but who is this? Oh, Deb with the super chat. Thank you, Deb. I appreciate it. But I, I I would love to be able to. There are no guarantees. There are no places where you could say, if you go there, you'll have a paranormal experience. It doesn't exist. I don't care if it's the Conjuring House. I don't care if it's Waverly Hill Asylum. I don't care if it's the castles in Transylvania. I don't care. You cannot guarantee a paranormal experience anywhere you go. You can't. It just doesn't work that way. Now you can try to, if the, maybe a bad word to use, but you may try to instigate one or initiate one by going different areas, openly talking to them, trying different methods, which of course will increase your odds of interaction, maybe. But even then, no guarantees. We were, again, during this lecture, people are asking us, you ever go here? You ever go there? You ever go here? You ever go there? And I told them, um, I would never, talk about certain locations, because people have gone there and experienced crazy things. And I'm not calling any of them a liar, but I've been in at least two places that are super popular and well known, and gotten, it was just that night. And for whatever reason, nobody was around. And I wasn't turned off. I wasn't a skeptic. I wasn't walking in there going, this is all fake. None of this is real. You know me. I was walking in there going, hey, come on, come on, do whatever you can do. Show me. And boop, zero, nothing. No rhyme or reason. All we can do as investigators and researchers is openly engage and openly talk to them and give them options for communication. That's right. That's really it. That's all we can do. And then whatever happens, happens. Again, Jason walked through that mine. I got to get up close because my eyes deceive me in my old age. Hi everyone. John Judy K. YouTube needs 7 more to hit. Okay. I gotta get up close to read the YouTube stuff. Sorry, and I'm watching myself on video right now. It's hilarious, but like I was saying about, we're talking to all of these people, and we're talking about different things, and different methods, and different ways to try to communicate and interact with spirits. And again, Jason Hawes, who I've watched forever, just like everyone else, he's a very basic type of guy when it comes to investigating. He flashlight, camera that has a powerful mic on it, and he walks around and picks up whatever he does while he's walking around. I get it, believe me. In a perfect world, yeah, I, I I would do that everywhere, and I do try that first. You know, just when we go into a new place, we're mostly walking around and we're quiet and we're listening, to see what's going on, and um, and he's still got interaction at the mine. So that goes to show you again the level of activity there. If he really did only offer them the one, you know, method of interaction. Just, we're here. Are you here? Talk to us. You know, come near us. And still, you know, they got interaction. So, you know, for me, and again, it all stems back, which is so cool. And for me, it all comes back to not a matter of liking things that blink and make sounds and and quote unquote entertain people. That's not it. It's not it at all for me. If if you were to come from, again, a family where it's so common for you to speak with try to speak with a deaf person, which is my family, my mom, my sister, my two cousins, my aunt, um, my daughter's very hard of hearing. This was very, my uncle when he was alive, my other cousins on the other side. This was my mom's side of the family. It was a very common. It's a genetic disease that I have and that they have. And it was very common for us as a family to be around people that couldn't hear. And if I told you the amount of times we would be somewhere like a wedding or a gathering with other people where, again, it's a shame to say this, where my mom and my sister and my cousin or whatever were basically, and I hate to say this, but it's true, we're basically treated almost like invisible people because they couldn't engage in the normal conversation, the normal way of communicating, the way two people do, talking back and forth. Because people had to go through a little bit of an effort, even with my mom and my sister, to enunciate everything. With my mom, you had to really move your lips. You had to enunciate the words, and she could read them. And she may make you repeat them a couple of times. So she got it. But that was too much trouble for your average person who wasn't used to being around deaf people. They would rather gravitate towards the people that it was easier to just one-on-one conversation. I hear you, you hear me, we talk. And growing up and seeing that, I cannot tell you how frustrating and how angry that made me. I would always sit by my mom at every event, always, and my sister, because we would talk. And because I could see, what was going on. And it did make me angry. It made me angry a lot. And people have a habit, especially with people that are deaf, of you explain to them. My mom would say, or my sister, I'm deaf, and they would talk louder. Oh, okay. No, they're not hard of hearing. They're deaf. You know, she reads lips. That's what I would tell everyone. And I'm kind of circling back to, because um, if my mom had different methods of communication, and I'll give you an example of that. Um, Years ago, they came out with something called, God, I can't remember the name of it now. I use it all the time. I would have to call an 800 number, right? Operator would answer. I would tell the operator, I'd say, hey, mom, it's John. How are you today? Go ahead. I would actually have to say, go ahead. The operator would then type. And my mother had this little box that looked like it was a keyboard and a little digital screen, and it would type out what I said. And then she would type, things are good, John. How are you doing? And she hit the go ahead button. The operator would then read what she wrote and convey it back to me. This was our conversation over the phone. I'd have to go through a stranger, a relay operator. That's what it was called. I'd have to tell this relay operator some personal stuff in order to relay it to my mother via phone call. TTY. Thank you, Marianne. Appreciate that. But again, This was revolutionary at the time. It gave these people who were deaf another method to communicate that they were shut off from technology. That's what gave it to them. They were now able to interact back and forth via phone, like quote unquote regular people, and call people and get phone calls. Without that technology, again, we're reduced to, will people talk to them? They're never going to get a phone call. There was no internet. There was no texting. That was it. This is the same thing that's in my head when I'm out trying to communicate with spirits. I'm saying, give them everything. Give them everything, because they might need everything. And what I say, a little twinkly ball twinkling every single time I ask a question, yes or no, is definitive conversation. I can't prove that, but I'm hoping to back that up with EMF energy readings, with recorded voices, with something showing up on it. So whatever. I'm looking to stack it on top of each other to prove and document that I really am engaging with somebody. The yes and the no ways. Pretty simple. Tap it, yes, no. How's that any different from a relay thing, or something simple like that? So I love doing the lectures again from my perspective and trying to explain it from my perspective, because I think that my perspective is much different when it comes to equipment and the reason that I use it and we use it than anybody else's. You know, most people are, again, are trying because the thing lights up, it whatever, it blinks and all that, and that's great, and it measures different things and motion and all that other stuff. But again, for me, it's all about just give them every option, man. If I had more, I'd give them more, you know. So that's, again, for me, I know that was a long roundabout way to kind of explain it, but it frustrates me a little bit when people talk about the equipment like it's so taboo. Like, it's like, how do you know? How do you know that? And this is what we were talking about during the lecture, because I said everybody says that in death, in space or whatever, time does not exist. It's not relevant. Well, then when you're in spirit form, are you still the 1880 John that passed in 1880? Or have you now transitioned to something spirit form different and have acquired more knowledge because you're plugged into something bigger than the human? These are all questions that nobody has the answer to. No one can prove any of that one way or the other. So, like I said, why not just give them options? And I'm always looking for new options, always, from the simple to the spiritual to the technology to the advanced stuff. I say try it all. Try it all. If it makes sense. Somebody was asking me about particular apps. Um, I'm not a fan of the Spirit Talker. I know that people use those out there. Um, there are certain apps that are literally programmed with a database of just words that would be related to what people would expect to hear in a haunted place. You know, girl, boy, man, woman, death, haunted, sad, um, murder, whatever. A lot of different words. And Spirit Talker kind of gives you like 10 of them. And you can pick one that's relative to whatever and make it fit, I guess. And I've tried it and I don't use it. Um, I more enjoy the phonics based ones, again, like Echovox, like John Zaffis use, and the new one I'm using now is more phonics based. It's not a sound bank. So, and again, Spirit box, yes. Are there lot of false positives because it is a radio that you're using to sweep through? But everything is relevancy. You're not just taking everything. You're taking relevant stuff. You're asking questions about a specific area, a specific place, and maybe specific people, and you're seeing what comes out and if it fits and if it adds anything. Again, I showed that video that I showed during our library lecture as well as the German club. I did that session with Kathy, I believe owns the Kepi hat from the Creeper Gallery. I got on Spirit Box the guy's rank, his first name, and his last name, which there was not on the card, none of that information. Those three things came through on the Spirit Box. Coincidence? Found the same guy's name, and he served in the what was it? The Indian. I can't remember what the battle was, but I believe it works. Does it work all the time? Probably not. What's the percentage? I don't know. But again, you're looking for relevancy in everything you do, no matter what you do. So that's how it works. I'm going to try to read the YouTube one again without. Okay. Indian War. Thank you, Kathy. This is why you're engaging with the spirits. I try to just look at things from again, people. We're dealing with people. When I think of spirits, I think of people. When I'm in a building, I think of who are the people that are around me and why are they here. That's kind of what I'm. Who are they? Why are they here? Do they want to tell me anything? Do they not like me here? Is there anything they want to share? Do they like me being here? Do they like the company? I mean, these are the kind of things when I'm wondering every building I go in and everything I do, same with the objects. And I'm treating them that way, you know? But if there's bad stuff, harmful stuff that have done things to people, yeah, my approach is a little different. Yeah, of course. I mean, those are different types of people, you know? And we got into the discussion about demons and all this other stuff. And you know, again, it's all according to what your beliefs are. You know, I don't say I'm 100% right in any of that stuff. I could be totally wrong, you know, but this is based on my experience. And I said that long comment there. I understand, go beyond to try ways to break the spiritual barriers. Our curiosity drives us to find. That's a long one. That's a long one, Christopher. The truth, give a spirit moment. That's what frustrates people when we do these lectures. The people are always like, what's the big question? That's what I always kind of start with too. What's the big question? What happens after? Isn't that what all of this is about? What happens after? That's it. The one question that we all want answered is what happens? Is it what religion teaches us? Is it something different? Is it nothing? This is what people were kind of, again, asking, which is totally normal when you're involved in the paranormal. And the answer is, after 25 years, I told you, I don't know. I don't know. No clue. No clue. I have a million people's theories. I have a million people's experiences to go on that have died and come back. I have a million medium impressions. I've had things that I've experienced for 25 years, but I have no idea. I could put them all together and form my own theory, but that could be completely wrong for when it ever does happen, you know? So, I mean, it is what it is when it comes. I just love going into these places and doing these things and trying to communicate with spirits and prove over and over again and interact with them. And again, this new building that I've been trying to get into for 20 years now, 25, probably way over 20. This is before New Jersey Paranormal. This goes way back to when we really, really first started doing what we're doing. Um, the thought of getting in that building after all these years, I really do hope it's, worth the wait. But even if nothing happens, the fact that I got to go in there and do it after all this time would be really cool. And it's all about the opportunities. This is why we do what we do. We get to meet awesome people. We get to go into these buildings and do this stuff. We get to explore the paranormal and try to find the answers, help people. And, like I said, the year goes on, Chris and I had a lot of discussions after last year about how we are physically and, the concerns that, she has, we have, and about, what this year, all the way up until the end of the year, it's not as if we weren't going to do anything. It's just, what were we going to do and how was it going to work? We weren't at a point where we were decided on any of it until the end of the year. We wanted to get through the holidays and then really have some discussions with ourselves and with others and figure out, where do we go from here? What do we do? What does 2025 look like for us together or New Jersey Paranormal? And we're doing it. We're doing, what we've done in previous years. The approach is still going to be the same. We still love doing it, but it's really going to be like a one at a time thing. Not that we're not booking events in advance and doing them. We're booking some really cool stuff with some cool people, but it really is about one event, one experience with those people, and then the next one. And if ever comes a time during any of that where the health issues or the concerns become more serious, then we figure out what comes after that. And I know that's kind of weird and cryptic, but that's the way life works. I mean, this is really important. I love this. I love doing this. I love doing this for as long as I have, but there are more important things than this. Chris is one of them, my kids, and my own health, things I can and cannot do anymore. The issues with my eye, they're getting bad again. My back is getting much worse. And so again, it's an event by event. We enjoy it. We have a great time. We hope it's, people have a great time. We hope we have a great time. We love doing it. But, this year our approach is a little different in that, we're not looking at the whole thing. We're looking at the one thing at a time and enjoying it and taking that for what it is and then going into the next one and enjoying that. It happens when you get old. Pick and choose your battles, your health. I'll totally understand, John. Go beyond, try to ways to break the barriers. Nicely said, Kathy. Very, very true. Sorry to hear that you have a few, but I'm back. Yeah, but I don't want this in any way to come across as we're not doing what we've done before, because we are. I mean, if I show you my pad and the schedule, we're going to be busy again, doing a lot of cool things in a lot of cool places. And I like having people join us. I told you that's as fun for me as it is for you guys. So yeah, there's going to be quite a few of those this year. So I'm going to enjoy it. Hopefully you guys enjoy it too. So I have no idea how long I've been going here. Over an hour. Wow. I did talk for a long time. So I'm not quite sure what day it is. Marie Gilbert, who we've had on before, and Marie's just a great person. Never heard a bad word about Marie and her her readings and who she is as a person and as a human. And nobody speaks a bad word about Marie Gilbert. Marie's going to come on, I think it's Wednesday, maybe Thursday, and do live tarot. She's going to explain tarot. She's going to explain how she got involved in tarot. She's going to explain, I guess, what her understanding of the cards and how to read them. And then she's going to do a live reading for me and a live reading for Chris. And we're going to have that whole discussion because we've never really talked about tarot and tarot readings. I'm open to it. I've had one. I told you it didn't go that well. And in between, will there be a creeper gallery? Probably. So that'll probably be Monday night, Tuesday night, probably Tuesday night, depending on the weather. But till then, sorry that Chris couldn't be here. I know you had to put up with me for an hour. I apologize for that. But there were a few people at this Clark Club that said, I really like you and Chris, but you should let Chris talk some more. And I said, you should leave. No, I didn't say that. I laughed. But sorry, it was just me and not Chris. But Chris will hopefully be back for either the Creeper Gallery or she'll definitely be for the tarot one because we have to do that together. So thanks for joining, guys. Have a good night, and we'll see you probably, or I'll see you live from the Creeper Gallery Tuesday night. Take care, guys.